Hello, welcome to Beyond the Boundary. This is the preview for the first Elimination Final.
It's Port Adelaide versus Richmond, Sunday afternoon at Adelaide Oval. Last time these two teams met, it was round 17 at Etihad Stadium. Richmond won that one by 20 points. The votes given in that game, Travis Boak got the 3, Trent Constant got the 2, and Dustin Martin got the 1. In the last five encounters, Richmond have won 3, Port have won 1, and there's been 1 draw. We'll just have a quick look at the finals path for these teams. They're on the first half of the draw. The winner of this game will face the loser of Sydney versus Fremantle in the first semi-final. The loser of this game, that's it. They're done. Season over. We will start with Port Adelaide. They lost to Fremantle by 8 points on the weekend.
Gave it a real hot crack, they did.
Correct. That is exactly what I was going to say, Josh. They really, really did. And I love that attitude that Port have.
Yep.
They were 38 points down, Nick, in the last quarter with, I think, 17.
In the last quarter, 38
In the
points
last
down,
quarter. And in front of screaming Fremantle fans. They're not exactly the most warm and welcoming.
Yep.
I can tell you that. So that shows guts. To be able to kick 5 unanswered goals shows real grit, real determination. And, who knows if they maybe had, 5 more minutes. With that kind of momentum they were building, anything can happen. So they were really, really good. Their fitness is back. Josh made that point last week, and we could see that, couldn't we?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, personally, I didn't see the game, but from what I could tell from the scores, it was a very tight encounter for the majority of the game.
Well, Paul were actually leading for a good part of the game, yeah.
One player who really stood up in this game, Robbie Gray. He finished the game with 9 clearances. He's been in some brilliant form recently.
We spoke about him in News and Views. Make sure you check it out. But he had 33 disposals, I think it was, 2 goals. He had 3 score assists.
One score assist,
sorry.
Yep.
He was just absolutely phenomenal.
He's averaging 32 disposals and 2 goals across his last 4 games. He's hit form at the right time of the season.
Oh, he's been in form all year.
Yeah.
He's just had a magnificent season, and he's going to be right up there in Brownlow 9, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, definitely. Jay Schultz was another one. He kicked 6 goals in this game.
Back into a little bit of form.
Gunslinger has found his gun.
Gunslinger?
That's what they call him.
Okay.
Because he looks like a cowboy. He's got the 5 o'clock shadow.
Oh, right.
But Gunslinger Schultz kicked 6, and I tell you what, long time coming. Because he just lulled into a sort of
2 or 3 weeks. Better than a month, I guess.
No, more than that. Probably I'd say a good month, 5 weeks of very, very non-Jay Schultz type performance.
Yep.
And he came out with a blast against a very good Fremantle defence, mind you. He had Zach Dawson on him, I'm quite sure.
Yep.
And he took him to town and got 6 goals off him. So a brilliant performance from him, Josh.
Hamish Hartlett was another one I thought was great. 24 disposals. He had 4 clearances, 5 inside 50s, and 2 goals. He's always one that really stands up and just chips in with a couple of goals on the scoreboard. 1 score assist as well, which is really valuable.
He's consistent, Hamish Hartlett. Every club has a midfielder that needs to be consistent every week.
Yep.
He's that one. Because sometimes Boak is down because of a tag. Brad Ebert might not be doing that well. Kane Corns. Every week, Hamish Hartlett does well. And, he's the kind of guy that he can only have 20 disposals, but he can really hurt you.
Yeah.
Well, as I said last week, Hamish Hartlett is one of the best players to watch in the competition when he's up and going.
Correct. And the reason he's so damaging with just, 20 touches is because he invariably kicks it. And invariably, these kicks go a long, long way.
Yeah.
So,
a testament to that, his ability to grab the ball off 55, take a couple of steps, and just bomb it for the goal.
Oh, yeah.
That's so valuable. When you can't break through that half-back press of the opposition, you can't get inside. When you've got a midfielder,
you can't go through them, go over them.
Just go over them.
Essentially,
Yeah.
the logic, yeah.
Another player who's great, Chad Wingard's played himself into form. He finished this game with 8 tackles, 4 inside 50s, 2 goals, 2 score assists. He was great for them.
Man crush confirmed, Josh Ricker. Man crush confirmed.
Good to hear.
He's just put his hand up for another Goal of the Year nomination.
I didn't say it.
Oh, it was an absolute corker. He was tucked into the boundary on his wrong side, and he's got 2 Freo players closing. He just sort of, whips their hair back and says, all right, I'll just check side it through from about 30 on an impossible angle. Bends it through.
Yep.
And as usual, gives the blue steel to his defender and just walks off and starts celebrating. But he's
loved it.
His last 2 weeks have been sublime.
One last player I wanted to mention from Port who's in terrific form, not just recently, but all season long. Matthew Lobe. He's averaging 33 hit-outs and 6 tackles per game.
6 tackles a game.
As a ruckman, yeah.
So he'd be right up there of all the players in terms of tackle numbers.
Yeah. If his hit-out isn't initially effective, he's right there in the contest, locking that down, making sure he has another shot at, which is so valuable. Moving on to the Tigers, they defeated Sydney by 3 points, a famous victory for them, which we've talked about in News and Views. Brett Deledio was great. He had 29 disposals today.
He did, and he's... Sorry, Josh, what were you going to say?
No, you go.
No, he's 3 goals again, Josh.
Yeah.
29 disposals again. In the last 3 weeks, I think he's kicked 8 goals and had over 25. In fact, we spoke about this last week. This is unbelievable. And you talk about Robbie Gray. This guy's the Robbie Gray of Richmond right now because he's impacting the scoreboard. He's getting a ton of the ball. And this, I might even go as far to say that if he keeps this up, he's reaching pretty much his career best form.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since we've seen Brett Delidio do what he's doing now. But to be able to get 25 plus and kick at least 2 goals a game at the efficiency that he does it, 72% on the weekend, which is elite.
Yep.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Delidio's last month, I'll go as far as to say he's the best player in the competition at the moment.
I'd probably say Robbie Gray, probably Pippy.
I think there's a few candidates, but it's a big call.
Delidio just. I mean, he's just been so prolific in this month that he's been playing this kind of form. He's been playing on half forward. As you said, kicked 2 goals a game, 25 plus.
Finished with 3 goals on the weekend, I forgot to mention.
Absolutely. He's just been absolutely phenomenal.
Well, the 3 weeks ago, I think he had 28 and 3. Then he had 27 and 2 goals 3 last week.
Yeah.
So he could have had 5 if he kicked
He's
straight.
been a big part of this Richmond's resurgence. But
Yeah.
we better move on from him. Ivan Maric, I thought was great. He had 45 hitouts, big impact in the game. We'll talk about the big match up there.
Big man.
Brandon Ellis was great as well. 8 rebound 50s. He's been great all year long. I think he's been averaging like over 27 disposals, just so consistent.
Since he was born, probably. That's how long he's been averaging over.
But all season long, you can rely on him to get around thereabouts that 30 touch mark.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think he's the king of the uncontested ball.
Yep.
And he won't be tagged in his wildest dreams because they've got Cochin, Delidio, Martin, all to worry about above this guy.
And Ellis is really relishing that role.
Yeah.
Not copying that tag with those other stars on the side.
Question, Josh, do you think Big Ivan, after the big 45 hit-out clearance performance coming in this week to a final, will he get that haircut?
No.
He won't.
No.
Not going to help him any? Okay.
Mind you, I'm not surprised he had 45 hitouts. He went up against Dean Towers as the second ruckman. So.
No, he went up against Sam Naismith.
Yeah, but Dean Towers was the second ruckman.
Okay, and Sam Naismith, I'm sorry to the kid, but he has got a lot of work to do. I won't get into him now, but
First game.
I tell you what,
break.
he had an Ariel Steinberger of a game, that one.
Troy Chaplin, been a lot talked about him this week. 8 rebound 50s he finished with.
Oh, no.
Sorry, 5 rebound 50s he finished with. Pumping him up a little bit too much.
Who's this?
Troy Chaplin.
Oh, right.
Chaplin and Alex Rance have just really propelled their defence. They're the number 1 defensive side in the last 9 weeks at Richmond. And that shows in their results.
And you're right. And Alex Rance had 13 1%ers on the weekend.
Which is a testament to that.
4 contested marks. If you watch...
To go with
that
6 rebound 50s as well.
And those marks, a lot of those were in really tight time when it was a one-on-one and he legit not even try to spoil it. He'd just throw his opponent out of the way and mark it.
Yeah.
So that takes guts to be able to do something like that. And Troy Chaplin, yeah, he's all right too. Let's see how he goes this week.
All right, boys, moving on. Now we're going to look at some of the key matchups in this game, and I think one of the biggest ones will be the ruck battle. Matthew Lobe has been brilliant all season long for Port Adelaide. We said, he gets 6 tackles and 33 hitouts every week. Ivan Maric, he had 45 hitouts on the weekend. This is going to be a huge battle in the centre of the ground.
Absolutely. I mean, I just said that Maric didn't have the strongest competition in the world.
Yep.
And he took full advantage of that in the midfield. He got first usage to his midfielders, and that's what he's got to do this week against Matthew Lobe.
He's a proven, consistent tap ruckman. Yeah. He can be relied upon to have a huge performance.
Well, you've got 2 different kind of ruckmen here, don't you? They're both very good at hit out, tap ruckman, but one of them's a hard tackling kind of inside hard nose.
Lobe, yep.
And then you got Ivan, Big Ivan. He can get around the ground pretty well.
Yeah,
he's a pretty mobile ruckman, although he's a big kind of lanky doofus kind of looking player. He gets around very, very well, and he does actually get a lot of the ball. He was the leading disposal getter at one stage in that first quarter. He was up to 8 disposals before anyone else, which tells you a lot about him. So it'll be very interesting to see how they look to counter each other.
Yeah. Another big one, Jay Schultz versus Alex Rance. Jay Schultz, he kicked 6 on the weekend. Alex Rance was in all kinds of form.
Alex Rance has played himself into some magnificent form. I mean, he's been good all year since coming back from injury.
I was going to say he's led from the front of Richmond, but he's really led from the back there.
But his last 6 weeks or so has just been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. And, he's put his hand up again and again for All Australian this year, and he's genuinely just a good, solid defender. He's not just a spoiling defender. That's what I like about Alex Rance, because a lot of good key defenders tend to just be able to spoil.
Yeah.
He's not a one-trick pony. He's very, very good at taking marks himself, which we saw last week. But he will have his work cut out for him with Jay Schultz, who can do everything. He can take big pack marks. He can take big leading marks. But the last time these two played, I'm pretty sure Jay Schultz only had 1 goal
I think
at
he
the
did.
Etihad, yeah. So, but he kicked 6 last week, so he'll be looking to build on that confidence and really take Rance to town.
The next one, Brett Deledio, as he said, one of the best players in the competition in this kind of form at the moment. Will Kane Corns go to him?
I believe he will. I can't see who you tag ahead of Brett Deledio on current form. You said it yourself, Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably been one of the best players in the last month, if not the best, and you got to tag him.
Well, on the flip side, Daniel Jackson's going to be available this week. He missed out last week because he was suspended in the VFL, so he couldn't play against Sydney, but he's available this week. I could actually see him coming in and maybe taking Robbie Gray.
I agree with that. And that's interesting because to me, like we mentioned before, Brett Deledio and Robbie Gray, 2 pretty similar type of players over the last month.
Yep.
Both at half forward, both influencing the games with goals and both getting lots of disposals.
2 of the best players in the competition at the moment.
Correct. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Kane Corns, however, is no mug. He's not easy to be, it's not going to be as easy to get 30 and kick 3 on him.
Yeah. Richmond's forwards, Rewalt, will it be Vickery or will it be Griffiths? Griffiths, you think?
Absolutely.
He's probably earned himself a spot.
Yeah.
And I think it started, again, in that game against Essendon.
Yep.
Up until that game, he was, in my books, not the most capable player, but he's the biggest kick in the Richmond side. And
By a long way.
By a long way. And he's also a very good pair of hands from what we've seen in the past few weeks.
Absolutely. I tell you what, if they drop Griffiths over Vickery, they've lost the game. Simple as that.
Oh, really?
Because they're flirting with their structure.
Yeah,
correct.
It won't happen.
You do not want to change a structure that has been working for you for 9 weeks.
Yeah,
is what Josh
just
is
won't
alluding
happen.
to.
Yeah.
So do you think Carlisle will go to the number 1 forward in Rewalt?
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. And then they've got the option of Trengove or Homsch to go.
I think Trengove purely on height because
Okay.
Griffiths is pushing 200 centimetres. Trengove's up towards that 200 centimetres as well. Homsch is about 191, 192.
Well, what I think is that I mentioned this last week, and this is why I thought Freo would win. Port have a very tall defence.
Yeah.
And they can be exposed. Walters and Ballantyne kicked 7 goals on them. And I honestly would not be surprised if Richmond did bring in a small forward. Someone like a Sam Lloyd, who's been having some very, very good form in the VFL. He had 4 goals and 24 touches a couple of weeks ago.
Even in the AFL, I think he had 4 goals on debut.
Exactly. So he's capable. And just someone with a bit of pace to change it up, because the Port defence, if you play tall on them, they'll have not much of an issue.
Yeah.
But it's when you get those smalls in there that they really start to, be exposed. So that's something for Richmond to think about.
So, boys, the prediction. Who do we think is going to win this game?
I think, as silly as it sounds, the crowd will have a massive factor in this.
Oh, yeah, the Portress.
Absolutely. They'll have a massive factor if
definitely 23rd man.
Well, Richmond can get off to a good start and silence that crowd, they can go all the way.
Well, at Adelaide Oval, they've had the problems. They can't even hear the siren down there. Excuse me, right, Josh? It's definitely a passionate crowd down there. Port Adelaide with a home ground advantage. I think, Josh, I'll let you go with your prediction first, and then we'll get into it because I want to raise a new point.
Well, I think Richmond.
Oh, well.
I think Richmond because they're the informed team in the competition at the moment.
Yep.
They're playing such good footy. They've just knocked off Sydney. They're going to be high on confidence. Whether they've played their grand final last week against Sydney to get into the final plays a factor.
Yep.
But on current form, you can't go past Richmond.
What's your margin there?
11 points.
Well, I'm going to say, I think this game will be very, very close. I think Richmond are coming into this game with a lot of belief. They've had that run of 9 games. It's been very publicised. They believe that they can beat anyone. They can beat Sydney. They've beaten Port in Melbourne. Alex Rance, he's shown he had the measure over Schultz at times. Those are key areas of the game that they could have the measure. But I just think Port, in front of their home crowd, I can't picture them losing that game. Adelaide Oval, the first final there, the crowd's going to be up and about, the team's going to be up and about. I just think Port Adelaide will just find a way to get this done. I think they'll win by 4 points in a very, very close game. Yeah, look, for me, I think Port Adelaide is a better side, and we saw what they're capable of when they're at their best. At the start of the year, they were unstoppable, nigh on unstoppable, because they run harder, they work harder, they've got everything going for them. And to be honest, all teams reach a point where they have to lose.
Yeah.
It sounds like a silly theory, but it's very true. Even the best of clubs have to lose at some stage. That's why you very rarely, if ever, see a team win all 23 games in a fixture, because you got to lose even to a team that's much less than you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the reason that I'm tipping Port, but the reason I am tipping Port is 1, because of their home crowd, B, because 2, because the last few weeks I've seen the Port of old. I've seen the Port of rounds 1 to 9, and I think that's the Port that will turn up in front of a roaring, screaming, mental Port Adelaide.
Crowd.
Yep. And Richmond, they'll want it. Yep, I'll agree with that. But I just don't think that they'll get it.
Just one quick thing before we wrap up. We talk a lot about the big players, Gray, Boak, Hartlett and the like for Port Adelaide, Richmond, Cochrane, Martin, Delidia, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The bottom 6 players are for me.
Yep.
Whichever side's bottom 6 players stand up will win this game.
I definitely think that will be Port Adelaide. There is no doubt in my mind for me about that because I personally feel that Richmond's bottom 6, you got guys like Jake Batchelor, I feel, probably be down there.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that Port Adelaide have a very well-rounded team. And I think that I don't see any key weaknesses in their team at the moment. But I can see Port Adelaide getting away with this. And I hope Travis Boak, after they win, goes up to his mate Troy Chaplin.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting exchange.
And shakes his hand a little extra hard and says, you know what, Troy? Yeah.
If Port win this. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the preview for the first elimination final.
Good luck to your team.
Links to the other 3 and news and views at the end. We'll see you next time.